going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, USC got a big time commitment from a 4-star athlete, which means he plays both offense and defense, but I believe he is going to USC for his defense. He's going to play defensive back, so I guess he could play either safety or corner, which is cool. He did play wide receiver, but he was just pretty average. I think he just used his speed. But once again, another guy from Bishop Alemany, but he is one of the better guys from out there coming to USC again. It's like their third or fourth guy getting from that school, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he looks great. Definitely glad he chose USC. We did miss out on another corner last week, Jaylin Davis, who is going up to Oregon, which does suck because he is a pretty good player. But you know, we'll see him next year and the next 3 to 4 years as well. Then the Lakers finally signed J.R. Smith to fill that roster spot. It took a while, but they finally finalized it this last Tuesday. And they say he's going to be good for the Lakers. I hope he is. He's just been out of basketball for a year and a half, and I'm sure there was a reason why. And now they kind of expect him to be one of those top contributing players and making big time shots when LeBron needs help. I don't know, I hope so, but we'll see what he has left in the tank, and hopefully he doesn't have a big mental breakdown like he did in the last finals he played in. And then for a little bit of other Laker news that I mentioned, that's why they are signing J.R. Smith, is because their shooting guard Avery Bradley has opted out, and everyone thinks it's more because of the social injustice stuff he wants to promote, but it's really because him going into a bubble and even bringing his family there could be bad for one of his younger children, just because they have something medically wrong with them as well when it comes to their lungs. So I kind of really understand why he isn't doing it, and especially because he doesn't want to bring the virus back once the season is over. So I understand what he's doing. There's nothing wrong with that, so good luck to him, and hopefully he will be back with the Lakers next year, because he is on a player option after the season is over. Excuse me. But DeMarcus Cousins, who recently said on my last video that he wasn't going to be joining any teams for this restart, but now all of a sudden news comes out that he is not opting out, and maybe there is a chance that he will play. Never know. But yeah, it could be interesting, but I hope it is with the Lakers if he can play and contribute instead of with another team that the Lakers have to face. And then also the Anaheim Ducks, there was finally the NHL lottery, and they're picking 6th, even though they were the 5th worst team as far as record wise. They somehow moved back, and I think a team that's in the playoffs right now is actually going to end up picking number 1 overall, which is pretty crazy, but they are top 6. Hopefully they can get another good player. Whenever you're top 10, you always have to hit on a good player, especially for hockey. So not really too worried about it, but yeah, that's, I guess, the only bit of positive news for the Ducks. But they did promote someone, I believe his last name is Madden, to assistant general manager. I just hope this is one of the first moves to starting to get rid of Bob Murray, the other general manager that's been there for so long and sucks. I mean, yeah, he was there when they won the championship in 07-08, but yeah, it's done, buddy. It's obviously not working with over 10 plus years of not going back to the finals, so we need some change in Anaheim. USC football has started like a week or two ago when I was gathering all this information that they are going to start voluntary workouts, so you don't have to be there if you don't want to or don't feel safe, but it is good that a lot of these guys did show up. And as far as we know, a lot of them have not gotten sick with the COVID virus, but there was news that came out that one student athlete that USC, the school, reported that has the virus, but they didn't say exactly which sport and the player name, so never know. It could spread if it was something like a football team with a lot of guys on there, but hopefully it doesn't. And it's definitely spreading like at Clemson, Alabama, those schools, but a lot of people think that those coaches are doing it on purpose so that the whole team can get it and then they won't get sick with it again, supposedly. But apparently you can still get sick with COVID. It It doesn't make a difference. That's why I don't understand why all these things have to shut down, especially at the NBA. If some guys have it, just wait a week, wait till the symptoms go down, and then get ready to go again. But I don't know. People are going crazy over this little thing, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get through it. And sadly, one of my favorite Chargers, Desmond King, the cornerback on defense that I always wanted them to select in the first round, but they somehow selected him in the fourth, and he's been definitely playing like a first or second round player for his first 3 to 4 years in the NFL. But he's been in some trade rumors a lot, especially with the Minnesota Vikings, because the Chargers still need a left tackle, but they haven't really made any signings or any trades to help that side of the offensive line. But they think that if they trade their defensive player King for the offensive tackle there, Riley Reef, who would be the starter there, but I guess the Vikings drafted a player at his same position for the future early in the second round this last draft, so maybe they think he would be able to get traded easily. But for a player like Desmond King, it's definitely worth it, but I think the Chargers should get something back, because King is definitely a lot younger than Reef is, but Reef is definitely a position that the Chargers need, and they would be a lot better if they had that position filled, in my opinion. But I don't know, this is just a bunch of talk, but hopefully something goes down, and hopefully not with one of my favorite players that the Chargers drafted in Desmond King. But NBA 2K, the video game, has put out that Zion Williamson is going to be on one of the covers, which is great. The next gen cover, whatever they're calling it. And there's like a picture floating around of him today, of him in the workout facility with his mask on at the Pelicans facility, and he looks great body wise. I mean, I'm not gay, but not there's anything wrong with that. But as far as like an athletic stance, I mean, from when we last saw him in the season, he looks a lot trimmer and a lot more like built or in shape. So I'm glad to see that. Everyone thought because of how his body is, he was gonna get a lot thicker and chunkier, but definitely glad that he's proving all those guys wrong. And never know, I hope the Lakers don't have to face him in the first round of the playoffs, because he's looking like he's on a mission right now, which is crazy. But also with that 2K stuff, they are gonna honor Kobe Bryant as well with like a Mamba Forever edition, which is really cool. So hopefully those will be available. But yeah, it'd be great to see, and hopefully those guys get the much credit deserved that they do deserve. And Solomon Tuliaupupu, he's a linebacker who's going into his third year at USC, but it technically could be considered his freshman year because he's been injured and hasn't played in any games since he's been there. And yeah, I was definitely looking forward to him. He was one of my favorite players coming out of high school that year, even though he was considered a 3-star, but I definitely considered him a high-end 4-star athlete coming out of there, especially a linebacker from SoCal. And he's just had some crappy foot injuries, but they definitely are pegging him to be one of the breakout players on defense this year, and I'm hoping they're right, because he definitely has a lot of talent in my opinion as well. And then also Jason Kidd, assistant of the Lakers coaches, he was I got an interview with the New York Knicks, and the Lakers allowed that to happen, which is cool. It's normal business that you can let your assistants go and get a good job somewhere else, especially with teams that aren't in the playoffs. So I mean, good luck to him if he does get it. A lot of people thought he would get Frank Vogel's job with the Lakers. That's why he was named the assistant, but he's been great as an assistant so far, which is what his job was supposed to be, not to backstab, and he's been great. So maybe he could get a good opportunity there with the Knicks, who definitely need a lot of help. And Elijah Vera Tucker, one of the top returning USC offensive linemen, he is being considered the number one pass blocking guard in the whole entire nation for college football, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, for being like how USC is now, they throw the ball out pretty fast, so I'm sure those numbers are pretty much skewed, but that's how the NFL is going to anyways, when you need top pass blocking guys a lot of times more than running. But we'll see how his season goes. Hopefully he can stay healthy and be a lot higher pick than what he was projected to be. That's why he came back to USC, which I was definitely happy about. Then top coming freshman quarterback from, speaking of Bishop Alemany, QB Miller Moss. He's at the Elite 11 finals, which is like they bring in like the top 20 plus high school quarterbacks throughout the whole entire country, and then they dwindle them down to like the top 11, but just to see who's the top. Sometimes it could be someone who's a 3-star and you have no idea if they were gonna make it that far, but I believe he finished in the top 5. Don't know exactly the number, but I was just kind of surprised that there's no news on Jake Garcia, who is supposedly considered the better quarterback, and as to why he wasn't in that competition. But maybe when that video gets released or that series gets released, we'll know a lot more. But yeah, good. At least one of the USC guys is showing he can be elite out there, which is pretty cool. Then Onyeka Okongwu, who is one of the top USC players for basketball going into the draft this year. He's always been considered top 5, even top 3 sometimes, but this was definitely the first mock draft that I've seen where he's been projected number 1, which is really awesome. I think it really just depends which team is there and what type of position they need, but it'll definitely be really awesome to see a USC guy go number 1. It's been forever. The closest guy I can remember lately was OJ Mayo, who went top 3, but it'd be definitely pretty cool if he could be number 1 overall. And some weird Clutch Sports signing news. So I believe they signed with Trae Young, who's a young up-and-coming star in Atlanta. But of course, since Clutch Sports is kind of run by a lot of LeBron James's friends, that they think Trae Young is going to end up coming to the Lakers. But I think you just have to really see if LeBron is still playing at the time, like 2 to 3 more years once that guy's contract is up, or if he is playing with the Lakers or somewhere else. Because if he's not with the Lakers, I don't think he's coming to play with the Lakers. I think because of his company, they like to get a lot of those same players for LeBron James on one team, so he might go somewhere else wherever LeBron is playing. But 2 to 3 more years, who knows if he'll be basketball by then. But yeah, I just definitely think he'll follow LeBron more than he'll actually come to the Lakers himself. So the NBA had finally released schedules, I believe it was last Friday, which is finally some good news as to know that we're actually going to get some basketball at the end of this month of July. But you still never know with all the spikes of COVID cases in Florida, but you don't know if that's just because people are being dumb in public or if they're just finally testing more. You just never know. But yeah, hopefully it does come to fruition this July 31st, I believe it is, and it opens up great. I mean, they have Zion Williamson playing the very first game, of course, and then or one of the first games, and then also the Lakers at night playing against the Clippers. So of course they had to do us like that. But yeah, the Lakers have a pretty tough schedule because they're just playing all those playoff teams there. So those 8 games, I think they have like the Raptors, Jazz, OKC, Rockets, Pacers, Kings, Nuggets. Yeah, I think that's what the schedule was. So it's a pretty tough looking schedule. Hopefully all those teams are 100% healthy so they can see how good they are going down the stretch and into the playoffs, and hopefully it's more victories for the Lakers. Hold on, let me fix this light real quick. Get it a little bit brighter. Did that help? Not really. But yeah, they're also asking, because one of those teams that are going to be down there are the Spurs, who have one of USC's ex-forwards, Chimezie Metu. And since one of their better players, LaMarcus Aldridge, their starter, is not going to be playing because of an injury that he has had surgery on, they're wondering if Metu will get more playing time. And I'm hoping that he will, because going down the stretch, he was playing a little bit more because of other injuries around there. So hopefully he can have a pretty significant role there with the Spurs, because they should be playing all their younger guys anyways, because I don't think they really want to make the playoffs. So I'm definitely going to be happy for him, especially if he can show what he can do and definitely get a better contract going into the next couple years for him. And then of course, to end off with some little bit of Tom DeLonge news. So he is going to be starting a new mini docu-series on the Wapeton. Hope I'm saying that right. The Wapeton Dakota Nation. They're one of the Indian tribes up there, where it's a little mini series he's gonna do, probably with the History Channel, where it's gonna study their culture, history, traditions, spirituality, stuff like that. And they signed a contract with them, so hopefully they can start shooting at some point next year. I believe that's what the article said. And yeah, it's his company, To the Stars, that's putting it all together, and yeah, it should be great. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with other stuff he's working on, whether it's, aliens or, other certain ancient stuff that he's found that's being like connective tissue to something else. So be pretty cool to see. You don't really get that many stories of those like docuseries on Indians, because they're very, they're not very lenient on getting their information out there, or even having people with cameras around or being on their land. So it's pretty crazy that they're trusting a guy like Tom DeLonge, but they already know what type of stuff he can do, film wise and everything, getting on the History Channel. So happy for him and his company. Hopefully it's a good looking series. Definitely looking forward to it. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day.